Be with AIB, official bank of the 2006 Ryder Cup, in association with RTE Sport.
What a wonderful sight that was for all of us. Welcome back to the K Club. We're going to the opening ceremony in a matter now of minutes. And we'll hear, of course, in the opening ceremony, the four-ball lineup. What was he be looking for now, Tony, when he made that lineup? What was he... explain when you were captain, what exactly were the dynamics of your role in that and his role today?
Well, when I was captain, as it started, I had progressively more major winners in my team, so it was a little different. But I tried to use the major winners in a lot of the lineups with maybe a weaker man, not being unkind, but there were, you know, I felt if you had the guts and determination to have won a major, then you could bring somebody on, you know.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I tried very much to do that, and I believe very strongly in the fact that certain players turn other players on. We talked earlier about Christie Senior. I never got to play with him in a Ryder Cup. We played in 4 Ryder Cups, but you know, he had a good partner in Peter Ellis, but I think I may have played very well. He inspired me. I would have wanted to show him as a young man, you know, how good I was, you know, and so on. And I think you're looking for that all the time.
Okay. Well, the opening ceremony, as you can see, is about to start. We're going live there now for the opening ceremony of the 36th Ryder Cup, and we'll join our commentators, Alex Hay, and first, Shane O'Donoghue.
Thank you very much, Bill. Good afternoon and welcome to you all from the K Club. And the weather is very favourable at the moment. It certainly looked to be very, very poor with regard to the forecast earlier on today. So we're quite relieved in the commentary box, and certainly you'll see a lot of smiling faces. As you said, I'm joined by Alex Hay in the commentary box. A lot of people looking forward to something very special here this afternoon, Alex.
Yeah, well, so far everything I've seen has been spectacular. In some forms of the weather it was disappointing, but now the weather seems to be clearing, and just look at this spectacle that is about to unleash upon us.
Yes, this is our musical introduction to the opening ceremony, opening with the Ryder Cup theme, which is an original piece composed by our own Donal Lunny from down the road in Newbridge, and performed by a band of leading traditional musicians featuring a large percussion section, which you've already seen there, an 18-piece string ensemble, members of the Cullick Choral Society and the Mock Cho drummers. We've seen them already. They're from Galway. And we also have this theatrical sequence, which has been devised by the very famous Catalan group Els Comedians, and they're in association with Mock Cho, taking a comical look at how the ancient Irish gods might play golf with the planets as balls to the original music of Donal Lunny. observing the planets there. They are giant helium globes floating in the air, but controlled, as you can see, by staff on the ground. And they're flying over the heads of the crowds as they're struck by the gods with giant golf clubs.
Is Mrs. Sharani Violan agus is more an honordam Sharamanas Oscalte Horan Ryder Rovilagus a Shay a Har ever Lohar Tranuna. Ladies and gentlemen, Ireland stands proud this afternoon. After years of painstaking preparation, we are ready to bring to you the 2006 Ryder Cup. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is a heartfelt Cave Mila Foilta, or 100,000 welcome, that we extend to you across the world from the spectacular K Club in County Kildare. My name is Sharani Violan, and I'm honoured to act as your MC for today's opening ceremony. The Ryder Cup theme, which you've just heard, was composed especially for this event by Donal Lunny, one of Ireland's most renowned musicians. Ladies and gentlemen, over the next 3 days, the greatest golfers of Europe and the United States will compete for this famous gold trophy. The celebrated cup bearing the name of Samuel Ryder and the figurine of his golf mentor, Abe Mitchell. We are thrilled that this great golfing contest, established in 1927 and now one of the biggest events in world sport, has come to Ireland. And as the introduction you've just seen suggests, well, the gods, they seem happy too. And it's little wonder the gods are happy. Golf was first played here 400 years ago. Our island now boasts 415 registered golf courses, the oldest of which at the Curragh, just 20 miles from here. Open creativity of Els Comedians from Barcelona and Machto from Galway. We teed off this afternoon in prehistoric Ireland as the great pagan gods played golf with the planets. Dance company Cuishcame allowed the world a window into the vibrant and colourful imagery of our famous Book of Kells. Now, as the ceremony draws to a close and with formalities at an end, I hope that you can join in as we, 21st century style, let the golf party begin.